Hello and welcome to the Wolves preview. Friday night football. We've got a rare Friday night fixture and we are going to 7th place Wolves on the back of what is now confirmed to be a Jose Mourinho Manchester United career-ending win against Manchester United at the weekend. Obviously, we are buzzing at the moment. We're on a very good run right now. We're doing well. We're playing well. We've just beaten our not local rivals. We've just beaten our big rivals in the league. They've sacked their manager today. Today is Tuesday. Doing this preview a little bit early because I'm not sure if I'll get time throughout the rest of the week. So it's not going to account for any injuries or anything like that. That could be announced. So just bear with us on that one. But yeah, unbelievable. So Manchester United lose their manager. We win against Manchester United. We got Bayern Munich in the Champions League. Great. I'm absolutely buzzing for that. And now we're going to come up against Wolves. And Wolves is going to be, honest to God, Wolves is going to be a big test. It really is actually going to be a big test. I've just had a quick look at some of the games that they've actually come out, like they've had recently. And even, near the start of the league as well. They were the first team to take points off Manchester City this season. They drew with them. They drew with Manchester United. They've beaten Chelsea. They've had good games against Tottenham where I think they've lost. But they've had good games up and down the league. They've had some weird ones as well where like Huddersfield have beaten them 2-0. But Wolves are 7th in the league. And if I'm just looking at the league table right now, it actually puts them 1 point behind Manchester United in 6th. And they have the same goal difference as well right now. They've got one more loss than United have. So, I mean, that's massive for Wolves, though. This isn't just like some random, like, mid-table team. These guys have just come up from the Championship. They did very well in the Championship. They spent big. They spent big this summer as well. And they've brought in a lot of good players that have done really, really well for them. And that's a massive credit to Wolves. They've come into this league and done what not a lot of promoted teams do. They looked at the league and they thought, right, we have to spend big if we want to make an impact. Most teams will, when they come up from the Championship, if you take a look at Cardiff, and I was going to say Fulham, but not really, because they spent big as well and it's not really worked out for them so far. But say if you look at Cardiff, they maybe haven't recruited very much. They might not have a big budget like Wolves have, or they've been able to have this year. They may not have been able to invest as much money as they can. So Cardiff's priority is to try and maybe stay in the league, survive relegation, finishing 17th or something like that would be a huge victory for them. Wolves, however, have come into this year, into this season. We are in the Premier League and we do not just want to survive. We want to make an impact. And again, if I go back and have a look at the table right now, they are above, big mainstays. They are, right now, I think they are a point above Everton. They are a point above West Ham, a point above Watford. They're above Bournemouth. They're above Leicester. They're above a lot of teams that have been in this league for a couple of years to many, many years. They are doing very, very well. They play some decent football. They've got some really good players. Ruben Neves is the one that stands out the most for me. The same with Moutinho or Moutinho. I don't know how you say his name. They play very well. They've got a good, up and down, up throughout the team. Goalkeeper isn't too bad. Defense, they are solid. I don't think going through the fixtures, haven't been through them all, but I don't think they've been absolutely smashed. I don't think they've had an absolute pasting all season, but I might be wrong on that one. They might have had at least one. Not sure. Can't remember. Haven't seen all of their games. But I've never seen I've never seen headlines like Wolves take an absolute hammering or something like that. Generally, they've been playing quite well, and they're going to have to be a team that we take extremely seriously. Like I say about every single team up and down the league, whether it's a Manchester City or a Cardiff, opposite ends of the Premier League, doesn't matter. Honestly, doesn't matter. To me, you've got to take them as serious as each other. And whether that comes into what our team will be for Wolves, because I don't know what our schedule is like. So we play Wolves on the Friday. I'm just going to have a look at our fixtures now. We play Wolves on the Friday, and then we play Newcastle on Boxing Day, and we're at home for that one. And then after that it's Arsenal, and then after that it's Man City. So for these games, I would say yes, you could get away with using some squad rotation, and we may actually, use the Manchester United game that we've just had to actually see some of those changes happen. I think against Wolves, we may actually go with a similar, if not the same team that we started with against Manchester United. I wouldn't be surprised if, say, he wants to give an extra week's rest for Trent Alexander-Arnold, depending on what his injury is like. We should find out some point today. I'm not sure when. So I maybe should have delayed making this video, but as I said, I don't think I'm going to have enough time throughout the rest of this week with my work, my own my job, and how that's actually our run up to Christmas is mental. It's insane. So yeah, I'm just preemptive striking on the moment, like getting the video out. But I think we can strike while the iron is hot with some players as well. So say Trent Alexander-Arnold gets a little bit of rest and maybe bring him back in for Newcastle. That's fair play, because what I saw from Nathaniel Klein against Manchester United was magnificent. He was brilliant, and I'd love to see him come back at right back. I really would. I think Milner is also due to be fit. I think he felt a little something in his muscles, in his leg muscle or something, was what Klopp said, so he didn't want to take the risk, and it paid off, to be honest. It gives him, he's our machine in the midfield. We need him to be optimal fit as much as possible, because he is absolutely magnificent. If he is fit, I expect him to play. Maybe have a little bit of a rotation there. But honestly, if we were to take that game at the weekend against Manchester United, and you were to say, right, who would you drop, who would you keep in, I honestly don't think I'd find it very hard pressed to drop anybody out, like, for performance reasons, because I felt that every single player that played, whether they were subbed off, whatever, late on, like Naby Keita, and that was, well, I think Naby Keita got subbed off. Mane got subbed off for Henderson late on, I think after we went 3-1. I can't remember who the other sub was. I actually can't remember. But there was another sub. I'm pretty sure there was another sub. But I can't remember. Doesn't matter. But yeah, whether they were subbed off or not, I felt that they all contributed very, very well. So for me, I would actually maybe look at this game and think, right, everybody played well. Yes, Alisson made a mistake, but come on. He's not going to... he's not all of a sudden just going to go, right, Mignolet, you're in goal, because Alisson's been class. Alisson in goal. Left back. This is where it could maybe have a switch up. Could go Alberto Moreno, barely featured though, and he's expected to apparently go in January. So whatever that means for our left back, there's rumours of, or there's been talk of, one of our youth players, can't remember his name either. I'm not having a very good memory day today, honestly, I'm really not. On all fronts, it's just not happening up here. There's talk a while ago of a young player, one of our youth players, being moved up to the first team, training with the first team and stuff like that as well, to be competition for Andy Robertson. Could be Andy Robertson. Honestly, don't mind. I think he's got the engine to go all the time. I think he's got the engine to go all the time. So you could see Andy Robertson in this game. I'd like to see Andy Robertson, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Moreno in there. I think you've got to go with Van Dijk, and you've got to go with Lovren, because we don't have anybody else. So that's centre-backs. And obviously I think we will go with Nathaniel Klein in this game, and Trent will go for the game in Newcastle. That's just my opinion. Anyway, midfield one that you could rotate quite a bit, but I feel that with some of the players, again, I said it before about Klein, we could strike while the iron's hot. And what I mean by that is players that are playing well and getting better and used to our systems of play could really benefit from consecutive games playing. Players that I'm looking at there is primarily Fabinho and Keita. I think that these two players, obviously Fabinho right now has been having a more, he's been having much more of an impact on the game than, say, Keita has. But I think Keita will grow into his role and what he can show and what he can bring to Liverpool. I think he's shown glimpses of it. He's shown really good games. Maybe didn't show it a great deal against Manchester United. It's a difficult game to come into that midfield and try and control it. But I feel that he can come in to this game and build on his performances that he's had. Not only build up his match fitness as well, but also show us what he can do and bring to that front three and start feeding those front three very, very well. I think that can happen. I really do think that can happen. Fabinho, I think I'd love to see him in there. And maybe you get to, have Gini Wijnaldum rested for this game. Henderson could come in. Milner could come in if he's fit. We've got options there. I would personally go with Milner, because if he's fit and he's 100%, absolutely I would have Milner in there. No disrespect to Henderson. Henderson is a good player. but I'd have Milner in there because he's the machine, and I think he'd partners Fabinho really, really well. So that would be my midfield if we're going to go that way. And then the front three, you could change it a little bit, because if you're going to have Naby Keita in the midfield, then maybe you could change something in the front three, rest one of those guys or two of them, whichever, because we've still got the options of Daniel Sturridge, Divock Origi, the absolute Merseyside derby hero, and you got Xherdan Shaqiri as well. So I might have said, did I say that? I can't remember. So we've got Shaqiri, Sturridge, you got Origi, those guys can come in, Mohamed Salah, Mane and Firmino, one of those guys or all of them, they could be switched round. You never know which way it's going to go. But there is 5 days, is it 5 days? There's 5 days between the Wolves game and the Newcastle game. So really, rotation shouldn't be too much of an issue, because there's 5 days between the Manchester United game and this game coming up on Friday as well. So really, rotation right now, we could get into the flow of doing it, but we could also take some of the players like Fabinho, Keita, Nathaniel Klein, keep those guys in the team and get them, not only like match fitness is something that more points to Nathaniel Klein needing that. The other guys, it's more about, getting that system awareness, playing in the systems that we play in, and getting them more used to it, getting them, like fluid to it, because I think they're almost there, and I think they'll only get better coming up against a team like Wolves, who will be a difficult team to come up against, no doubt. I really do think they're going to be. I think they could be difficult to break down. I think they know what they'll be wanting to play football, but they will also be aware of the fact that we are when we can get our passing moves as fluid as we did, like say against Napoli, like we did against Manchester United, when we get our passing moves and the way our players move around the pitch, once we're in possession, they will probably want to kind of almost low block us and put about 8 players or 9 players behind the ball and try and counter us. The one person that they could possibly try and counter us with, if they decide to start him, is Adama Traore, who is one of the fastest players I've ever seen. He's possibly faster than Mane and Salah. The only thing with him is he doesn't really have a clinical edge, so he could, that's the only thing that lets him down. But he is one hell of a freight train player. He is just so fast. His footwork is really, really good. He just he's not a very clinical player, but he's going to be dangerous. And most of their players will be dangerous. You've got Ruben Neves will be dangerous from distance. So we're going to have to look out for all of that sort of stuff. But it's one of those things, isn't it? We've got to be aware of so many things, but they have also got to be aware of so many things from us. And while I think that this is going to be a challenging game for us, Wolves in 7th position, playing really well. They've got a good style of football, a good manager, they've got good players up and down the pitch. I think that we can, even if we make more changes than I've talked about here today already, I think that we can go there, we can get a result. People, I was speaking to someone when I was at work this morning, and they're saying, oh, you guys should be absolutely smashing Wolves. And it's like, no, I don't feel that we're warranted to smash Wolves. I really don't. I don't take any game as a given, regardless of who they are, whether they've got like a massive budget team or a small budget team. Take it game by game, and that every team carries its threats. They do. They really, really do. And that's how I'm looking at this game. I don't think it's going to be easy. If it ends up being easy, fair play. If it ends up being difficult, fair play. They're a Premier League team at the end of the day, and they're here for a reason. They're 7th in the league for a reason as well. And we've been undone in the past by teams that we apparently should roll over. We should absolutely steamroll them, and instead we get beat by them. And while we are a much different team right now, in terms of defence, in terms of goalkeeping, the way our midfield works, and our attack, we've still got to be wary of these things can happen. And we're not going to. I think I said it the other day in the yesterday in the review of the Manchester United game. I don't think that we're going to go invincible or anything like that. That thought has never entered my mind about like, oh, Liverpool could go invincible. We could be the next Invincibles. No, it's not. It's not. I would love us to go. Who wouldn't love to go unbeaten in an entire season? It's not going to happen. Eventually, at one point, we will draw games that we shouldn't have, and we'll lose games that we shouldn't have lost. That's just how it's going to be. That's football. That's how it is. Manchester City have set a ridiculous bar, and they weren't an undefeated team. You know, we beat them in the league. I can't remember if someone else did, but regardless of that, anyway, I'm getting kind of off topic. Prediction: Liverpool versus Wolves. Wolves versus Liverpool. I feel that we can keep a clean sheet in this game. I do, and it's no disrespect to Wolves. I think they will carry their threats, but I don't believe or I don't feel that they will be able to work their way around our defence easily. And I think they may struggle to get round the likes of, you know, unless Lovren has a shocker, Klein or someone else, whoever's playing right back has a shocker, Van Dijk has a whatever. I don't think they're going to find it easy to get round that defence. I really, really don't. And I feel that we will be able to walk out of there at least with a 1-0. I'd like it to be a little bit more. My heart would love it to be a 2-0 victory, maybe even 3-0, something like that. But I don't want to get unrealistic or, you know, disrespectful. I think a 2-0 victory for Liverpool could be on the cards, but I think that it will be a difficult game. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Anyway, it's been a bit of a longer. Can't remember. I didn't think I'd talked for that long actually. 16 minutes. Wow. Yeah, get your comments in the comments box below. Let me know if you like the video as well. Hit that like button and subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you ever so much for watching as always, and I'll catch you later.